my ghost town experience at the Rhyolite abandoned mining town. It's a historic ghost town now. I wasn't planning on going ghost hunting, but the opportunity presented itself once I reached the brothel. In this particular location, we were by ourselves out here in this part of the ghost town. This door here is where my dad said he saw someone poking their head out just as we were driving up towards this area. This story takes us from the brothel to a gravesite. This is a story about EVPs. Electronic voice phenomena is when you hear ghostly voices on a recording that you couldn't hear with your ears. A lot of people don't believe in this stuff. However, I did catch a lot of EVPs. And I don't agree that you get EVPs with any recording you make, because I've made a lot of recordings and I don't hear voices talking in the background in whispers and things like that. But I did get that here. This story also has a moment of actual contact with a ghost that I'll be talking about a little later. So let's get to it. Right around here is when I started to smell the perfume. And then when I got to the door here is when I smelt it very strongly. This is the only place that I spoke as if I was speaking to a ghost. I was alone when I smelled the perfume, and I went back and I told my parents, and they wanted to see if they could smell it. And my father could smell just a hint of it, and my mother couldn't smell it at all.
Is there somebody here? Would you like to say anything?
There was no answer to this particular question, but I left and I went back and I told my parents that I smelled perfume at the brothel, and they convinced me to go back, and that's when I asked this.
Did you work here at this brothel?
Listen closely to the whisper at the end, right after I ask the question.
Did you work here at this brothel? Did you work here at this brothel?
Here's the enhanced audio.
Did you work here at this brothel? Did you work here at this brothel? Did you work here at this brothel?
I hope that most of you can hear this EVP, but unfortunately, a lot of you will probably just hear noise. That's just how EVPs are. A lot of times, that's just how they are. There's really nothing I can do about that. But I've tried to bring out the voices as much as possible, so I know a lot of you are going to hear it. I could also smell the wood of the building, for lack of a better description. It smelled like, like wood, like the inside of a wood building. And even that was kind of a sweet smell. Then I said, I don't really have anything to say. And in that ghostly voice, it goes, yeah, talk.
I really don't have anything to say.
Once again, listen closely to the whisper right after I speak. It says, yeah, talk.
I really don't have anything to say. I really don't have anything to say.
Here's the enhanced audio.
I really don't have anything to say. I really don't have anything to say. I really don't have anything to say.
I also caught a little bit of music, and you can even hear some singing right after the music, or what sounds like singing to me. There used to be, according to some article on the internet, there used to be a dance floor and a bar inside this tiny brothel. Hard to believe looking at it, but I guess this was a little bit of the music that they used to play back then that the EVP was able to record. Listen closely, and then I'll enhance it. Listen closely. You can hear the music. I'm walking at the same time. The thing is, this EVP, the one with the music, it played and talked or sang while I was walking, and then the moment I stopped walking, everything stopped. All the sounds, all the EVPs, background just stopped when I stopped walking. But you can hear it. Here's the enhanced audio. I went back to see if I could still smell the perfume, and I couldn't. And I said that I couldn't. And then there was an EVP that at first I thought it said get out, because that's what it kind of sounds like on the speakers. But when I listen to it in my headphones, it sounds like hang on. You really can't hear this without it being enhanced. I'm not going to let you hear the raw audio this time because the voice is just so faint that really you're only going to be able to hear it after I've enhanced it. So here it is.
I don't smell anything now. I don't smell anything now. I don't smell anything now.
I also got a male voice that at first I thought said get out. That's what it sounded like on the speakers, just like the EVP hang on sounded like get out to me on the speakers, but in my headphones sounds like hang on. And this male voice says come out here in the night. In the night is the part that sounded like get out to me on the speakers, but I believe that it's saying come out here in the night. And the only way you can really hear it is the enhanced version. And you're really going to have to listen through the noise. Listen through the noise as hard as you can. Listen through the noise for that vocal tone. Then I asked if the ghost had anything else it wanted to say before I left. and I got a very clear female voice. Yeah.
Want to say anything before I leave? Because I'm getting ready to go.
Here's the enhanced audio. I also got what sounds like to me, he must be friendly, right after the yeah. And it's so faint that you can really only hear it enhanced. Listen closely through the noise and see if you can hear it. Listen to the vocal tones. After I got the EVP, which I didn't know I had, my belt was undone. And I didn't know that my belt was undone. I mean, I hadn't been walking around thinking that or feeling that. As far as I knew, my belt was on tight. So, unfortunately, as I say even in the video, I don't have any proof that my belt was on tight. I don't have any proof of that. How would I? You know, how would I? Why would I? But you see it in the video. It's what I got. And the way that I discovered that my belt was undone was that it was jingling. It was as I left after I said, "Is there anything else you want to say?" And then I started to walk away, and then I heard this jingle that I hadn't heard before, and I looked down, and this is what I caught.
Nice meeting you. See you around. Shit. My belt came undone. Holy crap. Hey, you undid my belt. That's very naughty.
Yeah, I wish I didn't say that whole naughty line. It's kind of corny, isn't it?
Unfortunately, I don't have any proof that my belt was fastened before I came here. All I know is it wasn't jingling before I got here. And now you can see it's unfastened. And there's a... Huh. All right.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to the grave site. The grave site is just behind the brothel. As I approached the grave site, I smelt the perfume that I had smelled at the brothel. Okay, so here's the grave site. Apparently, it's the grave of a woman who worked as a prostitute, Isabella Mona Bell Haskins, and they believe she was 21 years old when she died, and she was trying to go straight after a life of prostitution, but was murdered by her pimp. Her boyfriend is one of the other stories. She was trying to She became a prostitute to bail her boyfriend out of jail is one of the stories, and the reputation stayed with her, and one night her boyfriend beat her up in the saloon and shot her 4 times when they got back to their house. That part is pretty much what everybody says about her, is that she was shot 4 times in the back. And then the reason she's buried out here is because the women of the town that lived there back in the Wild West or whatever decided that she wasn't good enough to be buried with normal people. So they buried her out here by herself. And even though all the video and pictures that I'm showing you look normal, my phone that I was using, the Evo 3D, was having trouble at this gravesite. It kept locking up. It kept stalling. I had to keep resetting it. So that's just a little something I thought I would mention. So it is my belief that this is the ghost that I've been speaking to and who undid my belt. And I got a good EVP here at the gravesite. The EVP was an answer to the question, is this where you were buried? And then you hear an O. When you listen to it on the phone that I was using to record, it sounds more like a whoa, it sounds more like that. But when you listen to it on speakers, it sounds like an O. But you can hear it.
Is this where you were buried?
Here's the enhanced audio.
Is this where you were buried? Buried? Is this where you were buried? Buried?
Can you imagine being out here all by yourself late at night with the stars out and, and I'm not talking about out here with a ghost crew. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about all by yourself, completely lonely. Can you imagine that? That's pretty spooky, isn't it? I did have one more experience at the bank. It was a bank. It used to be a bank, and I saw, just for a flash, somebody walking away from the bank. It was a man walking away from the bank, and it was just a flash, and it looked like he was wearing, I don't know, brown pants maybe. I don't know, kind of possibly old-fashioned clothes. I don't really know. It was so quick. It was just a flash of a guy walking away from the bank. The problem with that is I was already kind of hyped up after my ghost encounter at the brothel, and I was on my way out, and I stopped to take a few more 3D photos, and as I was setting up the photo, I saw that flash of the man walking away from the bank. Now, was that my imagination? Maybe, but I just wanted to throw that in there because the Mona Bell experience was not my final experience, but it wasn't the flash. The guy walking away from the bank wasn't anything that I could prove, and I don't believe I got it on camera in any way. But I just thought I'd throw that out there. So there you go. That's pretty much my ghost encounter. And I believe it was with Mona Bell. And I believe that she's haunting this area of the brothel and her gravesite. So there you go. That's my story, and I've got all the video, and I've got as much proof as I can bring to you. I didn't really go there for the purpose of ghost proof. It was just a thing that happened as I was walking around, and the opportunity arose. As far as ghost proof goes, I don't think you're ever really going to have hands-on, solid, real good proof that no one can ever deny. I mean, really, the only thing you can do to get proof is to go out there and prove it to yourself. But I can't say that I was never not a believer, but I can say that that's what I experienced. I did smell the perfume. I did get those EVPs, what I believe to be EVPs, And that's my story. And the camera at the gravesite really was malfunctioning. So there you go. That was my experience. Thanks for watching.